My people, the chains that bind us cannot last forever. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has shown that one voice can shake an empire and awaken millions. They may cage the body, but they cannot cage the spirit. Freedom is not begged for. Freedom is demanded. So let us rise, let us speak, let us stand, because unity breaks prison walls, courage scatters oppression, and truth carries us into tomorrow. Freedom is not a gift, it is a fight. And fight we must until victory comes. Rise with courage, stand with unity, speak with power, because words break chains and truth breaks fear. Freedom is our destiny, and destiny cannot be denied. With this, I welcome you to today's episode where we examine the personality, leadership style, ideology, and vision of our great leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and place them in historical context by comparing them with genuine, selfless freedom fighters across Africa and the world. Today, we will be talking about self-determination and what it really means. Few political concepts generate as much passion, misunderstanding, and controversy as self-determination. The phrase is frequently used in political debates, protest movements, and international diplomacy, yet it is often reduced to a single idea: separation. In reality, self-determination is far more complex, and its meaning has evolved through centuries of global struggle. In today's episode, we explore the idea of self-determination in depth, where it comes from, how it has been applied throughout history, and why it sits at the center of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's political vision. More importantly, we ask a critical question: is self-determination about breaking away or about being heard? This discussion is not an argument for or against any political outcome. It is an attempt to understand a concept that has shaped nations, borders, and identities around the world. The idea of self-determination did not begin in Africa, nor did it begin in the modern era. Its roots can be traced back to philosophical debates about governance, consent, and legitimacy. The concept gained global prominence after World War I, when US President Woodrow Wilson promoted self-determination as a principle for restructuring Europe. Later, after World War II, the idea became central to the dismantling of colonial empires. The United Nations Charter recognizes self-determination as a fundamental right of peoples. Importantly, it does not define it strictly as independence. Instead, it emphasizes the right of people to freely determine their political status and pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. This distinction matters. One of the greatest misconceptions about self-determination is the belief that it always leads to the creation of a new country. History proves otherwise. Self-determination has taken many forms: full independence, as seen in Ghana or Kenya; autonomy within an existing state, as seen in regions like Catalonia or Scotland; federal restructuring, as seen in post-apartheid South Africa; cultural and linguistic recognition, as seen in indigenous rights movements. Each case reflects different historical conditions, power dynamics, and outcomes. Understanding this diversity helps us avoid oversimplification. Africa's relationship with self-determination is deeply shaped by colonial history. Borders were drawn without regard for ethnic, cultural, or historical realities. As a result, many post-colonial states inherited internal tensions that were never resolved. The struggle for independence across Africa was, at its core, a struggle for self-determination. Yet, independence did not always translate to inclusion or justice for all groups within new states. This unresolved contradiction explains why self-determination movements continue to emerge long after colonial rule ended. To understand Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's emphasis on self-determination, one must understand the Biafran experience. The Nigerian Civil War remains one of the most traumatic episodes in West African history. For many Igbo families, The war is not a distant historical event, it is a lived memory passed down through generations. Collective memory matters. Political movements are not driven by logic alone, they are driven by shared experiences and unresolved pain. This does not mean all conclusions drawn from memory are correct, but it does mean they cannot be ignored. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu presents self-determination as both a political right and a moral necessity. His framing emphasizes dignity, identity, and autonomy rather than negotiation within existing structures. Supporters interpret this as clarity and courage. Critics interpret it as rigidity. Both interpretations highlight an important truth. Self-determination is not just a legal concept, it is an emotional one. Kanu's message resonates with those who feel excluded from decision-making processes and distrustful of state institutions. Whether or not one agrees with his conclusions, the resonance itself signals deeper issues. History offers examples of self-determination movements that succeeded and others that failed. Eritrea achieved independence after decades of war. South Sudan achieved independence but continues to struggle with internal conflict. Catalonia's movement remains unresolved. Quebec's referendums resulted in continued unity within Canada. These examples demonstrate that self-determination is not a guarantee of peace, prosperity, or unity. It is a process, often messy, emotional, and unpredictable. This reality complicates simplistic narratives on all sides. From the perspective of the state, self-determination movements pose existential challenges. Governments are responsible for territorial integrity, national security, and political stability. This creates inevitable tension. States often interpret self-determination demands as threats, even when framed peacefully. Understanding this does not require endorsing repression, but it does require recognizing the dilemma governments face. History shows that ignoring grievances entirely often leads to escalation, while addressing them selectively can build trust. One of the difficult questions societies face is how to balance self-determination with unity. Unity imposed without justice breeds resentment. Self-determination pursued without consensus breeds instability. The challenge is not choosing one over the other, but finding a framework where dignity and belonging coexist. This is where leadership, dialogue, and institutional reform become crucial. History consistently shows that self-determination movements are least destructive when dialogue remains open. When dialogue collapses, positions harden, emotions intensify, and compromise becomes politically risky. Suppressing the idea of self-determination does not eliminate it, it drives it underground. Open discussion does not guarantee agreement, but it reduces the likelihood of violent outcomes. Beyond politics and law, self-determination speaks to a fundamental human need: agency. People want to feel that their voices matter, that their identity is respected, and that their future is not decided entirely by distant authorities. When this need is not met, frustration grows. When it is acknowledged, even without immediate solutions, trust can begin to rebuild. History teaches us several important lessons about self-determination. Number 1, it emerges from long-standing grievances, not sudden emotion. Number 2, it takes multiple forms, not just independence. Number 3, it is shaped as much by memory and identity as by law. Number 4, suppression without engagement rarely succeeds. Understanding these lessons helps us approach the topic with maturity rather than fear. Self-determination is not a slogan, it is a question, one that societies must answer repeatedly as conditions change. So we end today with this question: is self-determination about creating new borders or about creating systems where every voice truly counts? Stay tuned and see you on the next episode. But before you go, please help me type "God bless Mazi Nnamdi Kanu" in the comment section.